OverDRIVE webinar workshop today. We're looking at one of the exciting developments that have been released recently into the product called Page Builder. My name is Sean Power and I'm one of the business development managers here at OverDRIVE, and I'll be hosting the event today. The session will last probably around 30 minutes. We should have time to spend a lot of time demonstrating the product, showing you what it can do, and then we'll have time for Q&A after the session as well. So this is the agenda that we have. So I'll start off with just a basic introduction to OverDRIVE, just for those who haven't seen it or attended a workshop before. We'll then look at why we've introduced Page Builder, and then, as I said, spend most of the time in the session today actually showing you it in action, showing what it can do and how that changes the way in which we create and manage the sites within OverDRIVE. There is a chat box, I think, on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, so you can pop any questions in there, and I'll try and get to them at the end of the session. If we can't, we'll come back to you after the session to answer those questions as we progress. You may be seeing me on video, so you can move that video around so you can get the screen to show exactly what you want to see. Okay, so we'll make a start. So a little bit about OverDRIVE to start. So OverDRIVE is essentially a site builder, and it builds sites directly from your G Suite data. So it turns Drive and G Suite content into web pages and portals automatically. And as you see in the demonstration, it allows you to create a site in minutes without any specialist skills needed. So you don't need to be a web developer in order to create a site specifically from and directly from your G Suite data. And it creates everything from very simple short-term sites to more advanced solutions for both business and education. And I will see in a second about some of the uses that some of our customers are using OverDRIVE for. So effectively, it's a one-stop shop for all your website and portal creation needs if you're a G Suite user. And we do aim very much at the G Suite market. That's where our niche is, definitely. So in terms of the uses, there are a number of ways in which OverDRIVE is used by organizations, as I said, both in the business and education sector. And it gives you the ability to spin up or create sites very quickly. And we'll see this in the demonstration because we'll be creating a site live. And this, as I said before, means that you can create both long and short-term sites using OverDRIVE. So you might have an event running at the weekend, but you want a site to hold the presentations, maybe a feedback form, maybe agenda, content, contacts, that kind of thing. You can create a site, but you don't want to spend weeks and weeks creating that site. You just want it to be created very quickly, used for a relatively short period of time, and then discarded. And OverDRIVE is ideal for that. But it's also ideal for those long-term sites. You've seen some of the examples on the screen where it might be an intranet or a virtual data room or a client site or a digital library, anything where you've got information that's held within G Suite and you want to share that information appropriately and securely to a group of users. Well, OverDRIVE can be used for both of those uses. And it's that flexibility, and as I said, the ability to create sites very quickly, and also the fact that users or licensed users can create as many sites as they want for as many uses as they have, means that it's using it for a great deal of things, for lots of different uses, which is interesting and good because it gives you more flexibility. So we look at why Page Builder, and this is aimed at those attendees who've perhaps seen the old OverDRIVE style using page settings, where it was a little bit rigid. It was quite difficult to create flexible sites where you wanted multiple content on the page. You had one page and it had one type of content on there, effectively using page settings. Well, with the introduction of Page Builder, what that allows us to do is have multiple sources of data on the page. So you can have lots of different content on the page. So it makes it work very, very easily, very flexibly. And effectively what it means is that we're creating better sites. Not only is it easier, more flexible to create those sites, but the end result, the things we present to our users, be they inside our organization or externally, those sites are better, easier, more flexible, better looking, and easy to interact with. So it gives us much better sites at the end of the day, which is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, so that's kind of the background to OverDRIVE. Hopefully you have seen OverDRIVE or you've seen something about it. If not, I'll take you right from the start to how we create a site and what we do with that site once we have created it. So I'll just come out of the presentation. Basically what I'll do, as I say, I'm building a site live, but what I actually want to do is just give you a bit of context to this. So I've created a brief. Let's say we're a manufacturing organization. I want to build an intranet. An intranet is a very, very popular use of OverDRIVE. I've got a series of sections in that site that I want. So these are fairly common for intranet sites where we've got things like news feeds. We might have a section for reports. We might have some information regarding individual teams, etc. So what that allows us to do is hold that information. So if I wanted to create this site, there are two ways that I can do this. I can either go into Drive and I can create the folder structure within Drive, and effectively I'm creating this information and I'm pulling documents in Drive into these sections, and then I'm creating the site from there. And effectively a folder, a Google Drive folder, becomes a menu item within OverDRIVE. So there's a direct correlation there. Another way to do this, and what I'll do today, is actually starting very much from scratch. So I'm coming up here to our what we call our dashboard. So I'll send you the links after the session. It's just app.overdrive.io. And I've got the ability to create a new site. You see we've got a whole range of sites in this demonstration account. But I'll just go ahead and I'll say add new site here. I'm going to give that a quick name. I can either, if I want to, I can select a Drive folder if I've got a pre-configured structure within Drive. I haven't in this case, so I'll just leave that blank. And what that will do, that will just create that structure for me. So effectively, that's the site created. It's given me the link, and I can click on that link, and I'm effectively entered into that site that I'm creating. Now, this won't be particularly interesting because there won't be anything in there. But if I've gone from a Google Drive structure and brought that information in, then effectively that structure within Drive will be replicated within my OverDRIVE site. So again, just makes it very easy to get a site very quickly. As I mentioned to you, I'll send you the links after the session, but what you can do if you're creating a site, you'll have this walkthrough, which kind of takes you through what OverDRIVE is and how to use it and how to create the sites. I'll get rid of that because I don't particularly want that. Okay, so that's the site that I've got. A couple of things that I want to do. I want to deal with the look and feel to start with, how the site looks, and then I'll deal with the content. So the look and feel is fairly easy. I come up here, we call this our cog menu. It's like an administration menu. And the section that I'm looking for is template designer. As I'm going through this, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to show you some things, not necessarily train you how to do them so you can explore by yourself. So I'll quickly run through it, but I just want to get an idea of some of the things that we can do. So with this template designer, I've got a whole host of options to change the way that the site looks and appears. I can change fonts, I can change colors, sizes, layouts, backgrounds, whatever I want to do, I can do it here. I can run through all these and get those exactly how I want, or indeed I can actually choose one of our pre-configured templates here, which I'll do in this particular case. Even if I choose a pre-configured template like this, I like this one because it's full width. I don't particularly like the colors. So I can do things like I can change the color if I want to. That might be quite interesting. So I'll change the banner on there. And also I want to change the side menu. That's this area here. And we'll have a nice lurid green. Very good. Probably not advisable to choose those colors. Okay, obviously I can add colors, I can add my logo, I can change the way the menu appears, I can add other content in here. So I may do some of those later, depending on time. Essentially, that's what I want to do with the colors and with the site design. So now what I want to do is create some content in here. And as I said, I've created a blank site. So I've gone from scratch with no information in there. I've created a blank site. So there is nothing. I've got no folders or content at all. So I'm bringing that content in. If I just come back to this section over here, I go back to my OverDRIVE site, and I've got this button here, which allows me to add content, which is quite nice. And I'll choose this. I'll just paste that list of sections that I want, and I'll choose this option here to create folders. So now this is quite interesting. So we're creating multiple folders within Drive. And that's interesting because that's very, very difficult to do within Drive. I've got to do that one at a time effectively. So if I'm creating a series of folders for employees or for a project or for a class, then I can do that very, very quickly within OverDRIVE. And again, because everything is synced to both ways between Google Drive and OverDRIVE, anything I do within OverDRIVE is reflected back into Drive. So these folders will now exist within the Google Drive, which is quite useful. I do have this side menu here, which is kind of a navigation, but I've got a collapsed menu up here for this, simply because I've got this side menu. Again, it's a configurable option. I can have that running across the top if I want. I can have it running from the right. I can remove this this side deck. I can do whatever I want to do with this section. Okay, so let's have a look at one of these folders and let's do some things with this. And this is really what we're looking at in terms of page builder. So over here on the right-hand side, I've got this option here. It looks like a pencil, which is just means edit. And I've basically, what that means is I've got this page here within OverDRIVE, and now I'm going to change how this page looks. And I can do a number of things. First thing I'm going to do is just get rid of this box here. I'm going to start with a blank screen, which is quite nice. And let's have an image box. So I'll just choose an image over here. So I'll drag that across, resize it, and I configure this tile, which basically means what content you want in here. And I've got the option of either uploading information. I've got the option of pulling something from Google Drive or Shared Drive. Shared Drives is a new name for team drives. Or I can do a Google image search or do whatever else I want to do. So let's try and choose a halfway decent image. Let's choose that one, and that will be in this box. And again, I've got the options here to have some more options and change the way that this box works. So just click OK. And you can see that that's appeared here. It's not the right size, so let's just resize that and get to that something more reasonable. So that's an image. I'll show you one or two. I'm not going to show you everything in here because there's simply too much information. But what I will show you is a document, because documents are quite interesting. Here I can drag it across, resize it if I want to. Click the cog menu to edit this tile. Click on the file name. And now what I'm doing, I'm looking within my within my drive structure to pull something through. And I can either do that, something that's contained within the site, or I can actually look on Google Drive or on shared drives, which is useful for us. I'm going to click this one because I think that's okay. And again, I've got some options in terms of how that's configured. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. You can experiment yourself. Essentially, what that does, it embeds a document directly onto the page. So it allows me to rip the content out of a Google document and create a page and place that on the page, which is quite nice. And as I say, I can do the same for Google spreadsheets. I can do the same for slides, drawings, even data studio reports, everything that I may need. And I can, if I want to, let's just quickly do this. I'll show you what we can do with Google Drive folders. So sometimes it's quite nice to use Google Drive folders as a way of holding information. So I can select which folder I want, and that folder, the list of contents, will be embedded on that page. There's nothing on this page, so it doesn't mean anything at this point in time. Okay, so I've made some changes. How to play it about, probably not the right page that you would want. It's not particularly pretty, but it gives you an idea. Now all you need to do is commit those changes just by coming up here and clicking Save Changes. And you'll see we've got those boxes. I've got the image, I've got the empty file, which is very interesting, and I've got the embedded Google document with its images, etc. I want to spend a couple of things, I'll do a couple more things. So let's say I want to add a title in here. If I can type properly, I'll remove the title box from that one. And in this one, what I want to do, I'll do this once I've saved the changes. I'll pull in some content from elsewhere. So we've got this option to link file. So what that allows me to do is pull information in from elsewhere within my Google Drive structure and pull it into this folder. So it will be displayed in here, which is always very nice. So I've got a title for the tile. I can add a logo or an image, an icon if I want to. I can add more content. I can do whatever else. I can continue to resize it, etc. That's the basic structure of Page Builder. What it allows me to do is configure the site effectively and help me to pull information in from multiple sources into the one page and then present that in an easy to use manner for my users. Now, again, I've got multiple content in there. I may not actually want that multiple content to exist. What I might want is let me just add some files in here. And I think I've got a series of files to do with John Deere. This is a demonstration account, by the way, so there's quite a lot of information in here based on all sorts of different sources of information. Let me just pull this across, and I'll get kind of 2 or 3 different files in here. In fact, let me just go back to Google Drive and I'll select some. And I want Google Docs mostly, so I can pull those across. There we go. I can configure the way that this particular view is changed. Again, I've pulled the files in, and what I want to do is change the way that these files are displayed to my users. So I can, again, come back to this, configure this tile. This is the view that's set at the moment, which is details. I'm going to change that to blog. And again, I get some different options over here. So click OK, click Save. And then I've got a kind of a different view of information, just a different way to view that content and allow my users to interact with it. So if they click on that, they go through and they're seeing an embedded view of that particular document, and they can go back to the document, etc. So again, we're just presenting a different way to display information to users, to allow them to interact with that information in a more friendly manner than is typically available, whether I'm just sharing information just from a Google Drive folder, or whether I'm sharing a Google Calendar or contacts or anything like that. It allows me to share all of that and share it appropriately and display appropriately to my users. Let me just go into another blank folder, and again, I'll go into the edit section. I'll show you 1 or 2 other things that we can do. So I've got a button in here, and again, if I configure the button, I can say anything here. So this could be a link to a section on the site. It could be a different URL. So I'll put in our public showcase page, and again, I can change the way that it's displayed in terms of the colors, the borders, the size, tooltips, etc., how it's opened up, etc., which is always very useful. Resize that. And then if I've saved that, clicked on that, it will take me through to that site. So again, just an easy way for users to navigate through information. We've seen some of the Google Drive things. Again, I can display or embed Google Data Studio reports. If you're not using Data Studio, then have a look at it. It's a really good reporting tool. Or anything else actually that I can hold within Drive can be embedded in here, such as PDFs, drawings, any type of file, even Office files. I've also got the ability to do things like pulling calendars, which is nice. So again, I can select who I want to see, and I'll choose the calendars here, which is fairly easy. Again, we've just got some fairly spurious and uninteresting calendars, but I'll include those just so we can see how that works. We embedded a photograph before. What we can actually do now is embed a photo album, which is very nice. I can pull a map through, and I can see how that's going to look. Let's just put it here. Again, if I configure this, I can do Chicago, for instance, and it will look, and it will place it on Chicago, and I can do a number of things in terms of getting that to be correct. I'll get rid of that one. I can also embed a number of searches, so I can search the site, so any content that's held in the site, I can search for it, find it easily. It makes it very easy to use. I can do a general Google Cloud search. So if you're using G Suite Business or Enterprise, you get Cloud Search, which kind of looks across all your G Suite content. Or indeed, I can just search for Drive, Mail, Calendar, Contacts, and Google Web, etc. So I can do web searches within the site. Another thing I'll show you, because that's one thing that always frustrates us for some time, was the inability to share contacts. If you've got Google Contacts, you can search for those now. And in fact, what we've got the ability to do is embed contacts in here. So again, I'll just have a play, and I'll just choose a group of contacts that I've got. Give you that, and display. Choose how that's displayed, and that will come through here. And I can also embed things like Facebook and Twitter, and in fact, a whole host of other external applications. So now we're not just looking at Google data and things which are held on G Suite, we're embedding other tools into here like Smartsheet and Awesome Table, and even Microsoft OneDrive files, which can be incorporated into the site. So now I'm extending its functionality way outside G Suite. And again, you may have seen on here, another thing that we've got is workflow. So very simple approval processes for vacations, for document approval, for requisition for purchases, all that kind of thing can now be handled within OverDRIVE. Again, something that cannot be done with G Suite. We're now extending its functionality way larger. Okay, I'll just click save, and those changes are committed, and you can see that information as it's here. Now, I've not spent a huge amount of time, obviously, on the design of the site. You can tell by this lurid green color. But what I do have is another site that's kind of prepared earlier and has been spent a little bit more time designing. So we've got the colors the way that we want the colors. You can see we've got a series of buttons here. We've got those searches coming through here. We've got the live Twitter and Facebook feeds. We've got the list of documents which are coming from a folder. You know, we've got an embedded presentation, which is very nice. We've got an embedded YouTube video, again, which is always very handy, and embedded documents and all sorts of things. This is a very complicated page, probably not recommended, but what you can do, you can actually see how we're starting to use the information, design the site to be effective. So here we've got a series of documents. I can come through to here. This is a PDF document, so it's kind of in a frame. It's an accurate representation of what the document exists, and I can flick through with these, and I can find the information as I need to. And I've got one more thing I'll show you. I mentioned earlier the ability to embed information. I showed you the embedded document. What I haven't shown you is the embedded spreadsheet. So this is just a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet that's been embedded. And I've got the ability to sort this and filter this based on any keywords that I want to use. I can also sort the columns very easily. And I've got the ability to download, print it, copy to clipboard, and all sorts of things that I want to do. So again, yes, all this information exists within a Google Sheet, but I'm just making it easier for users to be able to interact with that information. and show the information in the most appropriate manner, which is always very good. That's kind of all I wanted to show you. There is a lot more to show you, but what I'll do, we'll be sending information after the session, which will basically allow you to set up your own trial sites. And go through what you can do. And I said that, as I mentioned to you, when you create a trial site, there's a tool that you can go through, and it shows you one or two different ways in which you can create sites and how you manage it, and what you can do with the pages, and what content can be embedded, etc. So in terms of next steps, I mentioned the trial site. I'll send you the link. You can have a look at that. You can create as many trial sites as you want, share it with as many users. You are limited for 30 days, but hopefully that gives you enough time to evaluate what OverDRIVE can do. We also have some public demonstration sites, which are, again, I'll send you the links to, so you can go see what a finished site looks like, and hopefully it won't have that lurid green color. It might be better designed. So have a look at those, and if you've got any specific requirements or questions about how to use OverDRIVE, can it do this, and I want to do this, would that be okay? Then please come back to us, please reply, and we're happy to set up a one-to-one consultation either with us or one of our partners who are based around the world. So I think that's it. I don't think we've got any questions, so that's good. So if anything crops up to mind that you want to ask a question, then please feel free to come back to us. Just respond to the emails that we'll send to you, and we'll pick those up, and we'll happily help you, and hopefully we can take it from there. Okay, thanks very much for your time. Bye now.